Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Scouting. Now this video is in response to a couple of requests I've had. I've had a few requests asking me for more low tier coverage on the channel, because even though I do cover low to high tiers, I cover every tier on the channel. Apparently, according to some of you, I've been putting up too much high tier stuff recently, and you wanted to see more low tier. So that's one reason I'm putting this video out, but the other reason I've been putting it out is because I've had a couple of requests. Well, actually, that's a lie. I've had one request for some low tier scouting action. And now, this is the M3 Stuart, Tier 3 American light tank, and it's a tank I rebought in order to try and get an ace tanker in it. Played a few games in it, haven't managed the ace yet. This one came pretty close to it, but I haven't played very many low-tier scouts in quite a while, and I would disagree that this is even actually a scout. It's a light tank. It doesn't get scout matchmaking, it gets regular matchmaking. It'll see tier 4s, it'll see tier 5s, and in fact in this particular game I'm a tier 3 in a tier 5 game, so I'm as bottom tier as you can be in a tier 5 game. So my gun isn't going to be great. I've got 56mm of penetration, 40 damage. I've got 78mm of penetration, 40 damage with my premium ammo, and even that's going to struggle against some of the tanks on the enemy team. So what am I going to do? We're here on Fisherman's Bay, and I haven't put up too many games on Fisherman's Bay either, so lots of reasons to make this video today. Usually what happens when I'm playing light tanks, or at least higher tier light tanks on Fisherman's Bay, is I patrol the village. I move up, I try and support the town, get shots down through here, counter scout enemy scouts working the village, but basically I play my scout up here in the village. But I'm low tier. I've got a 75% crew. Actually, my commander is 100%, but the rest of the crew is 75%. It's a new tank, it's a low tier tank. I rebought it, so no skills, and I don't have 6th sense. So normally, as I say, I'd pop up here, patrol the mid-ridge, but with tier 3 and a tier 5 game with a gun that's not going to be able to damage very many tier 5s, I decide that's a waste of time. So what I do is I go into another position, a position that I don't use in higher tier tanks, because higher tier light tanks are big and they can't really use the position I'm going to go into as effectively. And also because it's low tier, I know that a lot of the tanks on the enemy team are going to have low view ranges. So what I'm planning to do is just use these bushes up here. I'm going to be driving up, going to get as far forward as I risk. First start off by using these bushes here. Decide, maybe I can relocate and use these bushes here, closer to the village. And our first spots are going off. So I'm not shooting, even though the M3 Stuart on the enemy team is a tank I can pen. Not shooting, so I decide to fall back, wait for the trees to go solid, and I bounce. So we get one shot in, and tank dies before I can shoot him. So a few shots through the solid bush, then push forward until it goes clear again. And I'm just going to sit here because I've got lots of tanks supporting me. Now, I've already spotted a PZ-1C, or Panzer 1C, a Wolverine. I've spotted the Panzer 3A. I think the T1 Heavy was my spot as well, but we're just lighting up enemy tanks for our colleagues to shoot. We've got lots of backup. You can see a lot of tanks on the 1-2 lines backing me up, so there's no pressure for me to actually shoot here. I can just spot these tanks. Every time you see that little light bulb above an enemy tank, that means I was the one who spotted them. Just in case, some of you have also been asking me what those light bulbs are. It's part of the mod pack. It just lets me know what tanks I'm spotting, as opposed to what tanks my team are spotting. So, again, I could risk shots. Don't have much to shoot at this D2. But I'm being very calm, just sitting in a bush. I'm bottom tier. So really, this takes me back to a recent scouting video I put up, which is about conserving hit points. Light tanks get more and more dangerous the longer games go on. The more tanks that die on the enemy team, the more dangerous your light tank becomes, because the battlefield empties There's more room to move, there's more room to spot, there's more room to maneuver. So, while our team are taking out enemy tanks, I'm still spotting here. PZ-1C using a wreck to hide behind, but there are tanks shooting at him. And now a DW2 appears. Now, I'm not, as I say, I took a risk there, took a shot, but I'm not playing the most exciting of games here. This is what passive scouting is. There are plenty of tanks around me who could do the shooting. All I want to do is spot for them. And once again, patience pays off. We spot the PZ-1C or the Panzer-1C, we spot the DW2. DW2 is taking damage and we're getting assistance damage through this. So the score is 6-8, we're actually losing right now. And I'm starting to get itchy feet. I'm starting to wonder, well, I'm not really having an impact. Other than spotting enemy tanks, I'm not really having an impact on the game. But the problem in a low-tier tank like the M3 Stuart is just my gun. My gun really isn't good enough. I don't have a lot of hit points. So you see I've got an orange reticule on everywhere but the tracks on this DW2. But he gets taken out. That was my spot, that's fine. So I know a Panzer 1C has reversed or retreated. I know there's a Panzer 4D to my left. But I've also noticed that we've lost all the tanks in town. So I figure no point in me sitting here anymore. There are tanks moving down through town. So this is where I'm going to use the speed and maneuverability. It's getting late in the game. The map has opened up, there's more room to move around, less chance of getting spotted, and there's the GWR. Not my spot, he's outside of my view range, but we can move up, get a hint of a shot, and I switched to premium ammo because I was getting an orange reticule, but managed to hit his tracks. RT takes him out, and we switched back to regular ammo. So I know there was an Su-85 down in town, or at least he was last spotted heading towards town. Wondering if I can get some spots, and that's when I run into the PZ-1C. And I know some of you guys hate me saying PZ-1C, but it's an old habit. You would prefer me to say Panzer 1C, but PZ-1C is an old habit, and I'm an old guy, so hard to teach me new tricks. But we've dropped off the Panzer's view range, and now the RT has decided to advance. There are 3 RT on the enemy team, and again we're just lighting him up. Bishop takes him out. You can see I'm not really focused on trying to do damage. My gun is not fantastic. I figure I can have a much more successful game by spotting than actually damage dealing. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Panzer 1C was also taken out, so we're responsible for both those deaths. So now I'm just looking for the Su-85, trying to move erratically. But the problem is, the Su-85 can one-hit kill me, and he's also got a very good camo rating. So if he's still sitting up in B7 and looking at his stats, he's red, so there's quite a good chance he might actually still be sitting exactly where he was last spotted, I decide. Not worth my time. Not worth my time. He could one-hit kill me. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go see if I can find this Panzer 4D. There's a T-34 ready to shoot, or at least on the 2 line, and there we go. We've just spotted Chinokai. And again, I'm moving, constantly moving. Don't want to make an easy shot for RT. And guess who RT is aiming for? Probably because I was the only tank that had been spotted. So this T-34 is trying to poke. I want to try and get vision for my RT. Shinakai's moving in to support me as well. So I kind of missed where the enemy Chinokai died, but that's fine. I didn't miss it when I was actually playing the game. So I'm still looking for this Panzer 4D. You can see I'm wiggling from side to side, trying to keep things more awkward for enemy RT to try and lead and predict a shot. But we've moved up. I've switched to premium ammo because I'm expecting to run into the Panzer IV-D. Instead, we spot both arty. I've no sixth sense, but I'm sure... Yes, I'm sure they've spotted me, but the M41 fires and misses. And I missed my first shot. Bounce the second shot. We only get one penetrating hit. But still no sign of that Panzer IV-D. And I have no idea whether or not he's using a derp gun, but arty comes looking. You can see such low damage here. Okay, there's my answer. One hit from a Panzer IV-D who's not using the final... Well, he is using the final gun, but he's not using the derp gun. 110 damage. There's half my health gone. My gunner was dead. But once again, T-34 is moving up. Chinokai is backing me up, just trying to get spots. T-34 is going on a mission, spots the Panzer IV-D, and it's going to be very hard to pen this guy. As you can see, my crew aren't very good, missing lots of shots, and the T-34 dies.
Penetration.
Get one shot in, and then we start bouncing. Okay, so there we go. 2 enemy tanks left. We've actually pulled this game around. But I'm still only a tier 3 and a tier 5 game. Actually, I'm a little bit silly. I just realized it's a Panzer IV-D on the enemy team, not a Panzer IV-H, so he doesn't get the derp gun. It just shows how often I play low tier games. Even when I was playing this game, I didn't realize he was a tier 4 rather than a tier 5. So moving forward, no sign of the gorilla. Chinokai going on a mission. And I'm a little bit worried because if the Chinokai dies, that's going to be a lot more difficult to win. And it's pretty possible for the gorilla to be able to one-hit kill the Chinokai. But Chinokai moves in, I have no shots. He spots the Panzer IV-D, he spots the gorilla. So our arty takes out the Panzer IV-D, just the gorilla left, and our LE FH-18B2 takes him out. But yeah, tier 3, tier 5 game, guys. So just some light tank work in a low tier light tank on Fisherman's Bay. Haven't covered the tank on the channel before, haven't covered the map very much on the channel before. A little bit of passive scouting, which I haven't been able to do very often because of map changes. But it's nice. Yeah, it's still possible to do some passive scouting on Fisherman's Bay. I'm playing this tank again, rebought it to try and get an ace. Didn't get an ace, thought that might have been an ace game, but maybe not. But we did pick up the scout, and we did pick up patrol duty, so always a successful scout game in my mind when I pick up both medals. So we did a lot of passive scouting, finished second on XP. Now again, remember I was only a tier 3 and a tier 5 game, so I wasn't really in it for the damage, only did 147, didn't come first. Our arty had a very good game, but 715 damage, not too bad as a tier 3. Fired 21 and only hit 8, so yeah, so pretty crappy crew in the tank, and I only penned 4 of those 8, and they were with premium shells as well, so the gun, not very good unless it's top tier. Spotted 9 enemy tanks from that position, damaged 3, destroyed 0, and did 1473 assistance damage, which in a tier 5 game is pretty good. 17,500 credits earned just through passive scouting, and yeah, first game of the day, so 1000 XP times 2 left me on 2,144. So yeah, you guys have been asking for more low tier action. You've also been asking for more scouting videos, so you get both of them in one. And as I say, it was nice to finally be able to do some passive scouting because there aren't very many good passive scouting maps left in World of Tanks, and I usually, when I'm playing light tanks on that map, scout the middle, but this time decided to use some bushes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.